What is going on, everyone? My name is Drew Spencer with the React and Attack Football Podcast, where we try and go over NFL content from all 32 teams every single day. And boy, oh boy, there's always something going on in the NFL world. And if you like what you hear, make sure to like and subscribe. And let's go. Well, you know, eventually the levee breaks, right? Uh, and that's exactly what happened as the Niners lose 41-6 against Seattle, where the opening touchdown of the game was enough points for Seattle to win at the end. But you know, I'll dive into this game. Obviously, it's not as much to talk about. I wish there was. I mean, uh, Seattle just played amazing. I mean, there's really no ifs, buts, or anything about it. They were clearly the better team, and they did an amazing job. And there's a lot of kudos to this team. There was a lot of thoughts about how Sam Darnold would play with that oblique scare early on, and um, I thought he started to get rolling and stuff, but they didn't really need to use him because of how well this defense just absolutely swarmed. I remember saying it in week 1 of the year when the Niners played. I was like, it played against Seattle and they walked away with that win. And I was like, man, this Seattle defense, though, is on a different level. And I thought the same about the Niners. And yeah, I mean, it's just all the kudos and glory there to Seattle. I mean, I'm not upset at all. I mean, they kicked their ass and they proved it, and their fans came in hard for it. And honestly, yeah, they were the obviously the better team, but uh, the offense for the 49ers couldn't get anything going, obviously, at all. And it's like, what do you blame it on? Like, people could blame it on Brock Purdy. I I don't think it's on him. Uh, you can blame it on the offensive line. Yeah, they got their asses kicked, but like it wasn't just one guy. Like, you can blame it on the receivers. They weren't getting separation, but no one was. Tight ends. You can go on and on. CMC, I mean, even he got hurt. Jesus, man, what a what a season of hell, honestly, for 49er fans. I was gonna say game, but I mean, how many times have we seen guys go down? And it just hurts, man. It's one of those things where it's like you can't be upset with this loss. Like, I was gonna break this down more, but I'm speaking real. uh, you can I'm not I'm obviously upset and disappointed and downtrodden. I think anyone that's a fan of any team, right, feels that way when your season's over. But I mean, I still have a lot of admiration and respect for like how and like a lot, way more than I thought we were gonna do. So it's again, as I touched on, I said this season's been bittersweet, and it has been. It's been a very bittersweet season, seeing how well we've done and everything, but just just for everything on the line here and to end that way was just absolutely demoralizing, deflating. Um, couldn't get out of our own heads early. I mean, pressure came in everywhere. I mean, I again, like we were clearly outmatched on both sides of the football. I mean, we were. I mean, they were getting those crossing routes, and I was so worried about it. And when you have two players like Cooper Cup and JSN that just are such good over across the middle of the field, I knew they were going to give our linebackers a living hell. And it nothing seemed to materialize. We got some early pressure from the D line, but it just didn't sustain. And yeah, uh, it was just a tough go of it. Um, and I kind of wonder what else we can do. But yeah, I thought I was gonna be a little more structured on this and get to the nitty gritty. But yeah, it's one of the it's just honestly just such a demoralizing loss where you can't be too upset because I think most rational 49er fans, including myself and others, we're like, yeah, this is going to be a tough mountain to climb, but it still sucks to go down this way. And um, yeah, just completely outmatched and outnumbered. And kudos to Seattle. I heard it best from comedian Dan Soder, who's a big 49ers fan, who said that basically, all this season, or most of the season, we've been going into a fight with a broken arm. and, and I've been, felt that sentiment for so long. And again, I'm not ever going to make excuses because, again, Seattle was a great team. I think even if we were healthy, it still would have been a crazy game, and potentially one in Seattle's favor, especially there in at Seattle, where they just fucking bring the house and everything's there. I'm never gonna assume we can just go in and just win anywhere on any time. Whether we were healthy or not, but this is the one time where it's like you can pull that kind of card. But the way I look at it is more optimistically. Because even though this season did just end for the 49ers in a divisional round loss, the first time that's happened for us since we made the playoffs. But to be fair, I like that stat because it's like, oh, from 2002 to now. It's like, well, dude, like, we kind of sucked so many of those years. And then we had the Jim Harbaugh years where we went to three straight NFC championship games and then we blew ass until thankfully we landed ass backwards into Shanahan, who, you know, at this point, I'm sorry. Like I've also gotten mad at Shanahan at little things. I think there's certain things, and no one's perfect, that I've kind of critiqued that, but now I'm just gonna shut my mouth, man. Like he's gotten so much respect out of me for this year, and that's where I want to start. You know, the optimism that I have for this team is this coaching staff, and it starts with that. Kyle Shanahan was immaculate this year. You can a testament to what he did with Mac Jones, where people now are saying, "Oh, or not now, but at one point we're saying, is this a quarterback controversy?" And fuck those people, by the way. You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Sorry, not sorry, but yeah, no, I'm just saying, like he got Mac Jones playing like that, and Mac is a good player. He's not a bad quarterback. I think he structures really well in that system. I think and that's the thing about Mac Jones and the Kyle Shanahan system. There's like nearly fucking, 15 other offenses running this shit. He just went to the Patriots that wasn't doing it because they had their own thing with Josh McDaniels, and then he left, and then they put in fucking uh, Matt Patricia at fucking offensive coordinator. Sorry, yeah. I mean, either way, that's just how I kind of feel about that. About the controversy, essentially. But either way, Mac Jones was a hell of a fucking warrior and a hell of a player for us, and battled his way out. And honestly, if some team wants to get him, we have him under contract for next year. Pay up and trade. Otherwise, I don't mind keeping him as a backup. He's proven it really well. And if there is a decent trade partner that wants him, I would love to see him get that shot. It is, especially if it is a coach from that Shanahan McVay kind of style tree, that in that offensive quick rhythm, get passing out, because that's what he excelled at in Alabama. Instead, what they were doing, whatever the hell they were doing back then, like really screwed Mac Jones's confidence and stuff. I feel like kind of learned from it. I mean, even Sam Darnold, hell, he's even accredited his success to hit, like, being with Kyle Shanahan and learning under him and being in the same QB room as even Brock Purdy. Um, I think there's a level there, and then he got the chance to go to the Vikings, where Kevin O'Connell runs a very similar overall structural scheme of what they want to do. Obviously, there's different plays and everything, obviously, but like what they want to do is the same philosophy. And Sam Darnold, great at it, and he proved it in Minnesota. And then Seattle took a chance on it, and Clint Kubiak, who has been with the Shanahans forever, was like, "Yeah, this is the guy." And look at that. I mean, again, it's just so much about that. I mean, you got to have consistency there. So I mean, any Niner fan that at this point that wants Shanahan gone, like, dude, we would lose the offensive structure. Like, I think the way that maybe we practice or something and correlates into that injuries a bit, and maybe we should. That's something maybe we can critique Shanahan on. Maybe there's certain things along those that you could say, like, game adjustments and things like that. We've seen the blown quarter leads as Niner fans. I get it, but at the same time, like, you wouldn't want anyone else coaching this team, and there's no way you replace him. I mean, you thought everyone was knocking on the door for John Harbaugh. Kyle Shanahan hit the door. Whew, he'd be swept up by any team, any team. There'd be teams firing their coach right now and get him. Yeah. So yeah, I owe so much respect for Kyle Shanahan. Sorry to get so sidetracked about everything, but starting with that, but yeah, so much respect for him. How he's gotten this team to go through so much adversity, not just at the quarterback position, across the receivers and the offensive line. I mean, there was a stat that I saw at one point where I think we went in like 8 games in a row where we didn't have the same set of 3 receivers, like, because of injury. Like, I mean, we were just tossing guys out in different formations, and it seemed like the only constant we had this year was, thank God, Christian McCaffrey, and he was amazing. But I mean, so much rotation against again on the offensive line. Guys got hurt, banged up, as you expect, and getting the most out of everyone. And there's nothing we would like to see more than that. And I think that's so optimistic looking forward is that, hey, guys, at the end of the day, we still have one of the best fucking coaches in the league. And I know this loss is ugly, and I know all that shit, and I know we haven't done it, but we for sure have one of the best coaches in the league. Look at the team around them. They would tell you the same thing. But the other thing I'm massively optimistic about is, because of the injuries and how bittersweet this season was, the guys who stepped up, and some of them are veterans, guys that like Eric Kendricks, obviously, as we talked about in with the Eagles game, but even before that, so many just over, some guys that probably won't be here next year, but that veteran presence, and then so many young guys though promoted off the practice squad, given their first looks. I mean, look at Jake Tonjes, for instance. Um, he was incredible, stepping up in those roles at the time when filling in for George Kittle on the receiving end for the tight ends. Uh, you look at this this secondary that has battled through it, and I feel like they've gotten so much better. I mean, we've seen Upton Stout miss some time, Renardo Green miss some time, Diamador Lenore miss some time. Jair Brown, Marcus Siegel. I mean, everyone was rotating, and yet it almost seemed like it strengthened them. Obviously, the linebacking core. Once Fred went down, it was, in my opinion, DEFCON 5. Like, season's over. Um, but you had D Winners stepping in, showing it. You had Tatum Bethune before he went down. It's just like, again, like, it's just, it sucks, dude. So many guys that, like, again, in the one pessimistic part of me is that, like, when it comes to the roster, is not the players themselves or their talent. It's the fact that we're going into another year, right? So another year is going to go by, age, things like along that. And a lot of these guys are hurt going into the next one. Whether they are stars like George Kittle, who tore his Achilles, and he's my age, and it just sucks, dude. And it's like, will he come back to a full level? I'm obviously, like, I have nothing but high praise and hope and respect and everything for George Kittle. There's nothing in my mind that can tell me that, but I mean, he has been banged up a lot, and it's difficult. You have Trent Williams, who's older and everything, but still playing at an amazing level. Again, the only pessimistic thing that I have about it is is that, but seeing even the depth players though, even them getting hurt and then seeing how they will come back in, and if we keep them or if they're poached and it's just been difficult in that sense. But for all the guys this year to have stepped up from top to bottom of this roster, from everywhere, it's not just one position group, it's everyone that we didn't know. If you're a Niners fan, I'm sure there's some guys that either caught a pass this year or made a sack or got a tackle or something. You're like, who the hell was that? And like, dude, like that's fine. Like, because that was me this year, and I've been following this sport extensively since like 2014. I'm on like all 32 teams. And there was some guys I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, when did we sign him? Yeah, no, like crazy stuff. And you gotta be optimistic about it though. Moving forward is that, hey, if these star players are down or not capable, or maybe at that point where they're not at that same level, who do we have behind them? And this was supposed to be an evaluation kind of year. I mean, as I said before, uh, you know, going into this year, we let a lot of guys go. We shed the free agency because we had to pay Purdy and set that cap space eventually into the future so that it coincides with everything while also bringing on hopefully a new young core of guys. No, really, so we lost a lot. I mean, obviously, you look at this team, Debo Samuel not there, right? And I'm not saying that this is any was the flaw or anything why this season didn't go further. No, it was meant to happen. It was needed to happen essentially because you had to facilitate completely as a team and you're hoping on these young guys. But it was almost like we were as Niner fans kind of stuck in limbo because we didn't really understand what the team did or what these players really had because we were very much playing our veteran star players, obviously, right? Well, now we finally get a good look at these guys that we've drafted who've been stashed away. And now some of them never really saw much more than we thought. And you can blame some people can blame it on the coach or whatever, but I think they just didn't have it, right? Because we were all hands on deck and we needed everyone to get in there. And the guys that stepped up, they stepped up. They earned their job, they fought for their job, and they got it. And they stepped up when they needed to in those games. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, the end of this year, the end of our season, it didn't show up, but doesn't matter. We didn't get here to that point without everyone stepping up, and absolutely phenomenal performance by that team overall. And again, it goes to the coaching. What Robert Sala has done with this defense that started off early, losing our number one pass rusher and Nick Bosa. And here's the thing: it's we're not blaming it on injuries. We went into the season knowing that we lacked a true definition on the defensive line. We had let go of guys like Javon Hargrave, who didn't play super well this overall, but eventually, we let him go after the injury. Um, we had a completely makeshift overhaul on the defensive line, which is why we allocated two of our first round picks into Michael Williams and Alfred Collins on the D line. And we also spent, I believe, a sixth round on CJ West, another defensive lineman. We put a lot of our eggs in the basket, knowing that we had to upheave this, and we got a trade for Bryce Huff to be one of our main specialists. That in theory, with Nick Bosa there, it could go well. And my lord, the beginning of the year before Nick Bosa went down, it was still always Nick Bosa or bust, in my opinion, when it came to the pass rush, because otherwise we required too much on Michael Williams. But either way, it wouldn't have mattered. He goes eventually down, Nick Bosa, and now we have to put Michael Williams in there. We're hoping that as a rookie, and he's better at kind of defending the run. He's a little bit more raw as a pass rusher. Doesn't mean he's can't rush the passer, but that's he's a rookie, man. And then he's starting to get the swing of it, right? And then he goes down. And we are not generating pressure at all. We're not getting sacks this season. We're not doing anything. And we have injuries galore. Guys falling like every game. Another D lineman goes down, another corner gets banged up, a safety maybe gets concussed, something along those lines. I mean, and yet whoever came in and rotated in was as amped up, as lasered focused as the starter, maybe even the starter on the other side of the field, because he got those guys fucking going. Robert Sala, the only problem I have with fucking Xerxes himself, the generous defensive coordinator, is that he's probably going to get a head coaching job. Much deserved. Much deserved. He absolutely should get another shot. I'm hoping he doesn't take another shitty franchise job like the Jets or the Browns or something. But hey, you know what? Even then, with the Jets, I mean, the media ran them out, man. Like, well, it was his fault that Aaron Rodgers fucking tore his fucking Achilles and ruined it. I mean, maybe he let Aaron Rodgers have too much. It doesn't matter, man. Like, I don't care. That's all media stuff. Jets owner is a loser who actually buys into that stupid media stuff that is comes down to the personality of Aaron Rodgers for some reason. I don't fucking get it. And yeah, he has this, his son fucking pick players based on Madden rating. So yeah, I mean, if Robert Sala can avoid that, which shouldn't be hard, and again, you know, I say the Browns as well as another team to avoid because they're not much better. Um, yeah, I think he'd do really well somewhere. And I think he will get a shot somewhere, and I hope he's smart about the job that he takes because I think he's going to get it. But there is an outside chance that maybe other teams are more zinging to wanting offense and coordinator and stuff. I mean, if Robert Sala went to like somewhere like the Ravens, it depends on the offensive coordinator, things like that. But I think he'd have those guys humming, dude. Or even the Steelers. I think the Steelers would be an awesome place for him to go. I just think he'd bring some life. I don't know. I love Robert Sala. He's awesome. He's a great defensive mind. I don't know if he's going to be again. I don't know how great of a head coach he is because that's a different aspect. But he's a hell of a defensive mind, and he's a hell of a team leader. And he hypes these motherfuckers up, and you know it because every one of those players would tell you that he just is oozing energy and just you will run a brick wall for him, and I love it. So that's my only negative outlook about the coaching is that we might lose Robert Sala. And if we do, we're on another defensive coordinator again for what the fourth year straight ever since D'Amico left. And we saw Steve Wilkes in that Super Bowl year, but he wasn't great enough. And I know it's crazy to say, well, we made the Super Bowl. He obviously wasn't the reason why. That was a year we were actually healthy as well. But yeah, Brian Sorensen, who was on the staff, that was a younger guy we gave a shot to, which I admire. But at the same time, he obviously wasn't cut out for it last year, and I don't know. That's the only negativity that I have this year about the coaching. But yeah, overall, I think 49er fans can, as downtrodden as we are right now, we can hold our heads up high and look towards the future here. There's a lot to be still optimistic about. I still think we have an amazing quarterback. I still think we have so much talent that is oozing on this team. We just need, again, we need some influx of a draft, no doubt about it. And now we have the capital here to do things. And one more thing, because I am being optimistic and it sounds nice. I'm going to end with one thing though. It is extremely upsetting. And the only blame that I have on anyone this year, it's not completely any blame, but the way that I feel is on Brandon Ayuk for quitting on the team when his team needed him. That is crap. But hey, the optimism side of it is we release that fucker's cap money so we can do something and maybe get another receiver because that's another big problem. Looking forward into the future, we got at least a little bit of question marks, at least about who's gonna stay here at wide receiver. So, some other things to talk about, but at the end of the day, without getting too sidetracked, um, just an ultimately uh a a bittersweet season, I would say, man. And I don't really know how else to explain it because I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of downtrodden moments and then was brought back into it. and I had a lot of fun going through it, man, and being brought back to life because at one point it almost seemed like nothing mattered. And then this team was like, no, get in here. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. I've always, yeah. Why did I stop believing? We played a hell of a team that kicked our ass. And, Seattle, again, mad props to them. They brought it. Everyone brought it there. Um, yeah, I mean, I it's hard for me to think that Seattle's not gonna make it all the way. Personally, I know that's crazy. It's like, oh, you're a Niner fan, you should be putting against them. And I don't know. That seems pretty fucking amazing, especially for how they put us out of our misery. But at the end of the day, I love this team. They battled their fucking asses off. If anyone has any problem with how we finished or anything, you guys want to talk shit, you guys can. You can talk shit about that game. You want to talk shit about overall as a team? Fuck you, man. We battled our asses off. We got to where we are. We beat the defending Super Bowl champions in their home. So yeah, suck it. Go Niners, baby.